Again, Mr. Speaker, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat at sa pamilya ng DepEd na narito ngayon. So, but before I proceed to my interpellation, Mr. Speaker, gusto ko lang magkaroon ng manifestation dahil tayo po dito sa Kongreso, pagdating ng budget season, pinag-aaralan natin at binubusisi ang mga proposal ng iba't ibang mga ahensya at pinag-aaralan natin ano man yung mga issues and concerns ng ating mga taong bayan na dapat na ina-address. At yun po yung ginagawa ng ating mga kongresista na narito ngayon. At kami din sa Makabayan, talaga pong binubusisi natin. At eto nga po, 2 linggo na, 1 buwan, mahigit na tayo ay nagbubusisi ng budget ng ating para sa 2024. Kaya kung meron man tayong inire-raise na question on the policy, question doon sa paggamit ng pondo ng mamamayan, ay dapat sagutin ito ng wasto, sagutin ito ng tama, sagutin ito ng hanggang sa kaya ng mga ahensya. Okay? Ngayon lang kasi ako naka-experience, Mr. Speaker, noong ni-raise natin itong confidential fund, ay sa halip na sagutin ng Vice President at Secretary ng DepEd, itong mga issues natin sa confidential fund at ilang pong mga issues din na nire-raise natin sa education ay mga personal attack ang naranasan ko mula doon sa Office of the Vice President at saka sa DepEd. So ang gusto ko lang sabihin, Mr. Speaker, sana naman ay hindi ganun din ang values ng opisina ng OVP at ng Department of Education. Dahil ito ay, Mr. Speaker, ito po ay trabaho lang. Okay? Wala pong pikunan. Trabaho lang to. Mas grabe pa nga yung nangyayari dun sa ibang mga ahensya, no? Pero they take it as a healthy exercise. Itong nangyayari dito sa Kongreso. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, tayo po dito sa Kongreso, 315 tayo. Iba-iba yung ating mga paniniwala. Political belief, religious belief, paniniwala po doon sa mga paniniwala po doon sa mga batas o bills na ipinapasa natin. Pero at the end of the day, we are colleagues. At the end of the day, nirirespeto natin ang isa't isa. Hindi kami nagpepersonalan, hindi kami tumitira ng umaatake ng personal. So yun lang po, Mr. Speaker. So may I go on to my interpellation, Mr. Speaker. Last August 18, Mr. Speaker, nagbigay po tayo ng sulat. Ang aking pong office ay nagbigay ng sulat noong August 18, addressed to the Department Secretary, yung mga hinihingi po nating mga requests, documents, bearing the status and releases, allotments, obligation, disbursements, and balances of the following items. Meron po akong in-identify, Mr. Speaker, na 27 na mga items dito. And secondly, yung hinihingi nating request of copies of the new K-10 curriculum o yung matatag curriculum. At saka yung update doon sa grade 11 and 12. Pero unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, hanggang ngayon, hindi pa ito kino-comply ng Department of Education, Mr. Speaker. Kasi kung hindi ito i-comply ngayon, so hindi tayo pwedeng pumayag na aprubahan ang budget ng Department of Education kasi itong kasimple na simpleng communication ay hindi sinasagot more than a month na, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, per record, the department has complied in the submission of the following data and information. 1, the guidelines on the payment of overtime pay. 2, data on the payment of PBB, status of released PBB 2021. 3rd, status of releases,
Speaker,
allotments,
hindi po
obligation,
yan yung tinutukoy ko.
and final copy of the revised K-12 curriculum.
Ang tinutukoy ko po ay yung August 18, 2023 na budget. August 18, 2023 na letter. Ang nakalagay po dito I write to request documents bearing, sinabi ko na kanina, sayang ang oras. Number 1, physical fitness and school sports, education, information, and communication services, legal services and development of education related to laws and rules. Number 4, child protection program. Number 5, disaster. So sayang po ang oras ko, no, kung sasabihin ko pa lahat. So may I ask Mr. Speaker for a minute suspension so that we can confer with the distinguished sponsor.
Session suspended.
Mr. Speaker, I have here a copy of the items requested by Her Honor through her letter dated August 18. And the department respectfully requests for time until Friday to extract the data being requested by Your Honor. And then we will submit.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, ako po ay nagtitiwala dito sa ating colleague na si Congressman Maricar Zamora na i-comply ng DepEd on Friday yung ating mga kahilingan. Okay?
That is a commitment, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you, Congressman Zamora. So on budget cuts, Mr. Speaker, alam niyo po yung binabudget natin sa education ay kulang pa yan kung pagbabatayan natin yung United Nations standard, no? At least 6% po ng GDP ang dapat na ibigay doon sa education. At nakikita natin yung mga budget cuts tuloy. Alam ko, nag-request ang Department of Education ng more than 900 billion for the department alone. Tama po ba? More than 100. More than 900 billion.
It's 954,348,965,000 to be exact, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. At nakikita natin dito, no, kung ito-total natin, Mr. Speaker, yung items na may cuts, aabot sa 15,664,364,000, more or less. Kaya kahit na tumaas ang, ang neto o yung net ng budget ng Department of Education mula sa 2023 GAA, ay makikitang hindi pa rin maganda yung sasapitin ng mga implementation ng projects and activities ng DepEd for 2024. Isa sa napansin ko, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor, ay yung computerization program. Noong 2023, meron siyang 11.3 billion. In 2024, 8.9 billion with a variance of 21.64% or negative 2 billion. So, am I correct, distinguished sponsor?
That is correct, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you po. May ano siya, no? May kulang siya na 2 billion. So by the way, with this budget po, so ano po yung plano ng DepEd dito? So meron ba dito na laptop or computer distribution to our teachers, schools, and students? Kabilang po ba yan doon sa plano ng computerization program?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, for 2024, the department has a target of total 103,361 laptops. 34,500 of these will be for teachers, 4,001 for non-teaching, and 64,860 for classroom for students.
Okay. So can I have a copy of that, Mr. Speaker? Kasi wala naman dito sa...
Yes, we will
Thank you po.
furnish a copy.
So hopefully lang, Mr. Speaker, meron na namang bibilhing laptop, meron na namang bibilhing mga equipments. Hopefully lang, Mr. Speaker, hindi na mangyari yung dating nangyari na fiasco dito sa laptop at saka yung iba pang mga nung nakaraan. So paano ba gagawin ng DepEd ngayon ang mga procurement? Ibibigay pa rin ba ito sa PSDS ng DBM? Or you can use your yung sarili ninyong procurement committee?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, the department is committed to improve the procurement system of the department and to prevent from untoward incidents from happening again. And in fact, the department has created a procurement strand to focus on the procurement of all items to be procured by the department, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Thank you, distinguished sponsor. I hope wala na tayong maririnig na overpriced, na kulang po yung specification doon sa prices. So, i-ensure po ba ng DepEd yung tamang pag-procure, tamang pagbili nitong mga equipments na ito? Kasi malaki ito, Mr. Speaker, 8.9 billion.
Mr. Speaker, the department is committed to improve its procurement service, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Dito po, doon naman po tayo sa basic education facilities, Mr. Speaker, basic education facilities. Sa 2023 yung mga construction, replacement, completion of school buildings, etc. ay meron dito na proposal. So from 15 billion in 2023, tapos naging 33.75 billion. So malaki po yung halos doble po yung inilagay doon sa construction, replacement, and completion ng ating mga, kasi ang DepEd po ang nagre-repair. Yung mga building na mga rooms, ayan po ay DPWH. Tama po ba, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, the 33 billion mentioned earlier is for the whole basic education facilities program. And this... Yes, and this includes the construction of the new building and the repair. So these are categorized into several subcomponents, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you po. Pero meron kayong budget na 15.604 billion distinguished sponsor for this year. So what is the status of the utilization? Kasi po, nakaikot po ako sa Cebu, sa Bicol. Nakita natin doon yung naging problema nung nakaraang bagyo, Mr. Speaker. At talagang naghihingi sila talaga ng, ng repair, reconstruction ng kanilang mga buildings and rooms. Eh, hindi ko naman po masagot, di ba? Alam niyo naman po yun, Mr. Speaker. So, kailangan siguro na ma-determine natin ano-ano yung mga schools na nangangailangan ng rehab or repair. So, what is the status or the utilization rate of 15 billion in 2023?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, for the new construction of building, the SARO has already been released and the implementation is ongoing under the Department of Public Works and Highways.
Magkano po
For the repair of classroom, which implementation is under the Department of Education, a portion of SARO amount of the funds amounting to 1.8 billion has already a SARO, and the 3.1 billion is still awaiting for a SARO.
Well, Mr. Speaker, yung utilization rate yung utilization ng 15.604 billion, ang na-utilize pa lang ay more than 100 billion, waiting for the SARO. So, magkano po ba yung wini-wait natin na SARO? Kasama po ba ito, yung sa 1 billion? Kasi ngayon ay October na, di ba? In 2 days, in 2 or 3 days, October na. So, we are on the 4th quarter.
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, with the amount I mentioned earlier on the already available SARO, a portion of that is ongoing, batch 1 is already ongoing procurement, and other projects are still subject to modification. But a portion of that is already being constructed and repaired, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Well, hindi po ako satisfied dun sa sagot, no? Ang sinasabi ko po, based dito sa 15 billion na ito, 1 billion yung, po ito, na ongoing ang construction. So, meron tayong SARO na inaantay. Magkano po itong inaantay natin na SARO for the construction, replacement, and completion of the school buildings and repair po? So, yun po yung tanong ko, distinguished sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, for the allocation intended for the new construction, the SARO has been released already to the Department of Public Works and Highways for its implementation. And the procurement and implementation is ongoing, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Sige, nalito po ako doon, Mr. Speaker. Ang nakalagay po dito na line item for GAA 2023 is construction, replacement, and completion of school buildings and TechVoc laboratories, installation or replacement of disability access facilities, construction of water and sanitation facilities, and site improvement. Hindi po, yun ang tinutukoy ko na sinasabi nyo new building. So, iba po yan kasi nasa DPWH po yung, yung pondo niyan. So, ito po yung mga rehabilitation and construction po ng mga iba pang mga facilities.
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, as earlier mentioned, a portion of that amount has already a SARO, and a portion of that is still awaiting for SARO. And those items with SARO are already being procured, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Okay, in the interest of time, Mr. Speaker, can the distinguished sponsor submit to this representation the accurate report as regards to the utilization of this? Alam niyo na po ito, no? 15.604 billion. Ano po yung may SARO? Ano pa po yung natitira doon sa pondo? Kasi sa NEP, nakita niyo po yung NEP, 33.755 billion po yung proposed. Okay? 33.75 yung proposed, parang dinoble, itong budget para sa rehabilitation. Kasi titignan natin dito, Mr. Speaker, ang pagra-rational natin ang pagbibigay ng dagdag na pondo. Kung hindi naman ito na-absorb ng isang department o ng isang agency, so paano ba yon? Kasi alam natin, meron diyang policy and rules ang DBM. So kailangan, gusto nating makita yan. At idagdag ko na rin, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor, yung plano sa 2024 dito sa mga binabanggit nating construction, replacement, dahil meron po sa 2024 na NEP. Pwede rin po ba yung ibigay sa kinatawang ito at sa committee, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, yes, we will comply and we will submit the data asked by Her Honor.
Well, on the next, thank you, Mr. Distinguished Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. On the electrification of unenergized schools and modernization, electrical systems, and on-grid schools. So in 2023, may budget tayong 503 million. In 2024, meron po tayong 1.2 billion. So na-utilize na po ba itong 503? So what is the status of utilization, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, out of 495 sites for electrification target for this year, 84 sites have been completed, 191 sites still ongoing, and 220 sites on various stages of procurement. Mr. Speaker.
Just the same, can we have a written report on that, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, we will
Okay.
comply, Mr. Speaker.
Meron din dito ang construction of medium-rise school building. Can you describe a medium-rise school building, distinguished sponsor?
Medium rise. Sir Speaker, Your Honor, medium rise building are those buildings with 5 to 12 stories.
5 to 12?
12 stories.
Stories. Okay. May 2 billion kasi dito, Mr. Speaker. Meron ding another proposal na 2 billion sa 2024. May I know the status of the 2023 budget for this, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, for 2023, there was no allocation for the medium rise, only a proposal for 2024 amounting to 2 billion, Mr. Speaker,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Oh, nasa second. I should correct that. So meron kayong proposal na 2 billion. Saan po ito? Meron kayong detalye, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, the proposal for a medium rise building will be intended for Pasig, Marikina, and Bacoor.
Okay, thank you po. Meron din ditong mga program on SPED, on ALS, construction and repair, rehabilitation, replacement. Meron kasi tayong kapapasan na batas, Mr. Speaker. Alam ko, isa ang DepEd na dapat na mag-implement. Yung National Academy of Sports. So, meron bang nakalaang budget para dun sa National Academy of Sports? At saka yung isang batas din na inaipasa po natin, yung inclusive education. I mean, yung mga SPED area na gusto nating tayuan ng mga inclusive learning resource centers. May nababasa ako dito, 16 inclusive learning resources. Saan-saan po ito, Mr. Speaker? Anong mga lugar po itong 16?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, on the question of may nakalaan ba tayong proposal for school
National Academy of Sports.
We have a proposal of 195 million 167,000 for 2024.
Okay,
Your Honor.
thank you po kung merong nakalaang budget. Anyway, yung sinasabi pong 16 inclusive learning resource centers, ibigay na lang po sa akin yung report, Mr. Speaker, in the interest of time.
Yes, we will comply,
Okay.
Mr. Speaker.
Yung iba pa, ko pa pong topic, Mr. Speaker, on the reiteration po ng mga complaints ng mga union repression or union paglabag doon sa karapatan ng ating mga teachers for union. So ni-raise ko na po ito sa Civil Service Commission at very positive po ang ang tugon ng Civil Service Commission Chair Chief Carlo Nograles. So ito po Region 6 hindi pa raw sila binibigyan ng DepEd Central ng authority to negotiate with the union. Region 7, walang sagot ang management at busy daw sila. 3 years itong nakabinbin. Region 11, nag-i-impose ng additional requirements ang DepEd para mag-proceed ng negotiation. This is second CNA na ng Region 11. So binanggit ko na rin ito nung briefing, Mr. Speaker. Meron bang tayong update kaugnay nito, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, the department's stand on the CNA is that, one, the department is willing to negotiate with for the CNA. And for the regions being mentioned, for Region 6 and 7, the status now is the department is waiting for the request to negotiate and the proposed CNA.
Yes, for
And that is,
Region 6 and 7. How
Region
about
6
itong
and
Region
7?
11?
For
Na
the
tatlong
Region
taon
11,
ito, Mr. Speaker, na 3 taon na nakabinbin yung CNA negotiation nila, na renegotiation na lang naman ito eh.
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, according to the records of the department is still waiting for Region 11 to submit the list of its officials, which be included in the proposed CNA.
Officials po ba? I would like to reiterate. I would like to
Yes, the updated list of officials of ACT, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you po kasi ang kala ko inahanap ninyo yung listahan ng mga miyembro ng ACT. So that is pinuna natin yan na that is a violation of the right to organization of an individual.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, what they are waiting is the list of the officials of ACT because they form part of the party where for the negotiation.
Thank you, distinguished sponsor. Meron po rin tayong ni-raise yung service credit ng mga teachers natin. I know merong memo ang DepEd na hindi na lang linilimitahan sa 15 days. Pero i-monitor nyo na lang po yung pag-implement on the ground. At may request din po sana ako na sana ay i-monetize. Bigyan ng karapatan naman yung mga teachers natin na just like the education support personnel, they can monetize the service credits at saka yung PVP. So ni-raise ko rin po ito sa civil service at si Chief Nograles po, as sinasabi niya, ay makikipag-usap siya sa DepEd. So tumawag na po ba ang ating chief ng CSC?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, the department will study the said proposal and the discussion, there is already an ongoing discussion on the matter.
Pati po yung yung rules natin on overtime pay.
We take note of that, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you po. Kasi ang mga teachers, nag-demand sila ng overtime pay during the pandemic. Hindi ito pinansin nung last administration. Hopefully, mapansin ito ng civil service in coordination with the Department of Education, Mr. Speaker.
It's being studied already, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Okay. Next po, yung Teacher Effectiveness and Competencies Enhancement Project, yung TECEP. World Bank project ito na may 120 million US dollars total project cost. Last year, sinubukan ding ponduhan ito ng 602.639 million, pero hindi ito pumasok sa GAA 2023. Though pumasok ito sa unprogrammed appropriation, yung request for that. So it's now 680 plus million. So ano po yung status po nito, Mr. Speaker?
Sir Speaker, may I request for a few minute suspension?
Before the chair suspends, I'd like to the chair would like to remind the gentle lady that she has 3 more minutes Session suspended.
Pang-release. So, wala pa. Mr. Speaker.
Session is resumed.
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, as of now, there is still no notice of loan proceeds. And it's still under an program.
Thank you, distinguished sponsor. Mr. Speaker, isang topic na lang. Nakakabahala, Mr. Speaker, yung report ng World Bank about the yung sa East Asia at saka sa Pacific, about the Philippines remains to be the poorest in learning in East Asia and the Pacific, with 9 out of 10 Filipinos unable to read and understand simple age-appropriate reading material by age 10. The country scored an identical of 91% learning poverty rate in 2022. In the 2023 World Bank report, however, the Philippines was still among the 8 nations that registered a learning poverty rate higher than 2/3 or 67% despite the return and in-person classes in schools in November 2022. The other 7 are Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, etc. So unable to read. So iyan po at saka yung mga multiple factors that contribute to the learning poverty and learning crisis. So mababasa niyo po yan isa din po sa naging findings ay yung tungkol dun sa sweldo ng ating mga teachers at saka yung mga benefits at saka yung tungkol doon sa career progression. So yun po yung isang mga factor. So meron na po bang ginagawa ang ating Department of Education para po naman maitaas natin yung ating ma-solve natin yung ating learning poverty?
Sir Speaker, Your Honor, the department takes note of these reports, and the department is committed to address these concerns. And in fact, this is the reason why the Matatag Agenda and the Matatag Curriculum was launched. And under this curriculum, the department is committed for the implementation of the National Learning Recovery Program so as to address these gaps mentioned by Her Honor, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, so isa dito, Mr. Speaker, yung motivation ng ating mga teachers. Marami rin sa ating mga teachers, 44% daw nakalagay dito yung absences. At many factors kung bakit nag-absent yung mga teachers. Hindi naman siguro yan umaattend ng mga rally. So economic factor, yung salary, yung medical condition, etc. So I am glad that the sponsor take note of this, and I hope the Department of Education will make necessary interventions to address this learning crisis. And that ends my interpellation, Mr. Speaker. Magandang hapon muli sa ating lahat.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, next on the list of our interpellators, I move that we recognize Representative Mujib Hataman of the Lone District of Basilan.
The Honorable Hataman of the Lone District of Basilan is recognized to interpolate the sponsor.
Maraming salamat,
Please proceed.
Mr. Speaker. Maayong hapon, kapwa Mindanaoan Representative, the distinguished sponsor. Ma'am, maigsi lang ho ang tanong ko. Actually, tatlo lang. Una, magkano ho ang Madaris Education Program natin for 2024?
Sir Speaker, Your Honor, the department is proposing for 359,503,000 for the Madrasa Education Program.
Ito ho ba, ma'am, ay excluded sa program na to, yung Bangsamoro Autonomous Region? Kumbaga ito, or kasama dito sa program, yung BARM areas?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, that is correct. Excluded po.
Excluded or included?
Excluded, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Ma'am, distinguished sponsor, pwede ano na lang ho, in the interest of time, pwedeng makahingi ng data ng lahat ng eskwelahan na pumasok dito sa programang ito. Kasama na rin ho yung data kung ilan yung Muslim student population na nag-avail dito sa programang ito.
Yes, we will submit and we will comply with the request of His Honor, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, distinguished sponsor. Magkano ho yung school building program natin for 2024?
Sir Speaker, Your Honor, is the honorable colleague referring to a budget proposal for BARM or sa lahat?
Actually, pwede na, ma'am, diretso na tayo sa BARM,
BARM.
kasi yun din ang tutunguhin ko actually.
Okay, for Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, for the BARM, for 2023, we have a total allocation for 309 million. And for 2024, under NEP, we have a proposal of 600 million. Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Ma'am, etong school building program natin for the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, pre-identified ba ito ng central office or lump sum dina-download natin sa BARM at ang nag-identify si MBHTE ng Bangsamoro Autonomous Region?
Okay. Sir Speaker, Your Honor, the fund is a downloaded lump sum, but the identification of the school building is with the central office.
So may list ho tayo ng name of areas allocated by the fund.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Pwedeng humingi ho ng listahan ng hindi ho kailangan ngayon or pwedeng mamaya. At ganun din, ma'am, kung pwedeng mahingi ko na rin ho yung mula sa 2019, do hindi pa ho panahon DepEd, kung meron lang ho tayong listahan mula 2019 up to now.
Yes, we will comply, Mr. Speaker.
Ang program fund ba dina-download natin sa BARM is school building lang o meron tayong ibang program na dina-download na pondo para sa Bangsamoro Autonomous Region?
Sir Speaker, Your Honor, for the calendar year 2024, the funds that will be downloaded to BARM is only for the construction of school buildings.
Or SBP lang. So,
Yes,
other
Mr.
programs, wala.
Wala na.
Anyway, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor, baka pwedeng i-request ko na lang yung data in the interest of time, ho. Halimbawa, kung mula 2019, kasi I'm sure even it is not the time of the BP, pero yung institutional memory, I'm sure yung sa finance meron silang data. From year 2019 up to 2023, ho, kung magkano ang found out. With that, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor, I end my interpellation.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, next on the list of our interpellators, I move that we recognize the Honorable Edsel Lagman of the 1st District of Albay.
The Honorable Edsel Lagman of the 1st District of Albay is recognized to interpolate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Distinguished lady, would you yield to some questions?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
This will be a little more lengthy than my questions with respect to the office of the Vice President. I hope you would be patient with my questions. I am certain that the distinguished sponsor knows the idiomatic expression of calling a spade a spade.
Yes, I am aware of that, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
And the idiomatic expression calling a spade is of classical Greek origin, but it gained popularity in Oscar Wilde's novels Dorian Gray and The Importance of Being Earnest. I am also certain that the distinguished sponsor is aware of this.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
The essence of calling a spade is that one must describe a thing, a person, or an event as it is, truthfully, even to the point of brutality. Is this correct?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
For this reason, we call the killing of 13 farmers who demonstrated before Malacañang in 1987, among other 3,000 farmers, as the Mindiola Massacre. Not merely the killings, but Mindiola Massacre. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Even in reference to fictional characters like Father Damaso in Rizal's novel Noli Me Tangere, a prior who represented the avarice as well as the abuse of Filipino maidens. We refer to him not only as Padre or as Damaso, but as Padre Damaso, to emphasize that this is a prior. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Likewise, when we refer to the dictatorship during the martial law regime, we call it the Marcos dictatorship or Dictadura Marcos. Is this not correct?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, may I request His Honor to repeat the question, Mr. Speaker?
Okay. Since the declaration of martial law, 50 years ago, and the ouster of the late President, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., we have called the era under martial law as the Marcos dictatorship or Dictadura Marcos. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Speaker,
Okay.
Madam Speaker, Your Honor.
Why then does the Department of Education, in its matatag curriculum, instruct students to call the Marcos dictatorship only as dictatoria, dropping the name of Marcos? Is this not a scheme to misinform or a historical revisionism to conceal Marcos as a dictator?
Madam Speaker, Your Honor, the Department of Education, in its effort to change the theme, the historical theme, is not to revise the history, but it is to frame a portion of the Araling Panlipunan curriculum which is to focus on historical themes and concepts and not each presidential term. Madam Speaker, Your Honor.
Whatever presidential term, it is important to call a spade a spade. During that black era, it has been known locally, domestically, and internationally as Marcos dictatorship. Is it not?
Madam Speaker, Your Honor, the history tells us so.
That is our history. Is that correct?
Come again, Madam Speaker.
And that is our history.
History would tell us, that is correct,
Correct.
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
And education, the essence of education is to search for knowledge and teach the truth. Is it not?
Mr. Speaker, may I request His Honor to repeat?
The essence of education is to search, is to teach knowledge and instruct the truth. Is it not?
That is correct, Mr.
Okay.
Speaker, Your Honor.
Let me go to, thank you for your candid answers, and let me go to another topic. What is the law which provides for the mandate and power of the Secretary of the Department of Education or the Department of Education itself?
Sir Speaker, Your Honor, the mandate of the department is provided under Republic Act number 9155 or otherwise known as the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001.
And that is correct, distinguished lady. Mr. Speaker, where in Republic Act number 9155 is the power and mandate of the Department of Education or its secretary provided for?
The mandate. Sorry. May I ask Mr. Speaker for a few minute suspension just to get the exact provision of the Republic Act?
Session suspended.
Mr. Speaker.
Session is resumed.
Mr. Speaker, Section 6 of the said Republic Act covers the mandate of the Department of Education in terms of governance. It shall be vested with authority, the department will be vested with authority, accountability, and responsibility for ensuring access to promoting equity and improving the quality of basic education. Arts, culture, and sport shall be provided for the basic education.
Yes.
Section 7, Mr. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, provides for the powers, duties, and function.
Okay.
And the Secretary of the Department shall exercise overall authority and supervision over the operations of the department.
Now, let me repeat that mandate of the Department of Education. And I quote, under Section 6, as correctly pointed out by the distinguished sponsor, It shall be vested with authority, accountability, and responsibility for ensuring access to, promoting equity in, and improving the quality of basic education. In other words, the principal mandate of the Department of Education is to teach and improve the quality of education in the country. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Speaker, but Section 7 of the said Republic Act also provides that in addition of the power of the Secretary under existing laws, the Secretary shall have authority, accountability, and responsibility for the following, and this includes formulating national educational policies, formulating national basic education plan, promulgating national educational standards, monitoring and assessing national learning outcomes, undertaking national educational research and studies, enhancing the employment status, professional competence, welfare, and working conditions of all personnel of the department, and enhancing the total development of learners through local and national programs and projects. Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
And Section 7 must be harmonized with Section 6, which is the principal mandate of the Department of Education. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Okay. Where in Section 6 or Section 7 can we infer that the Department of Education can utilize confidential funds in pursuit of its mandate and power?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, as part of the mandate of the Secretary to formulate national educational policies, it is the intention of the Department through the Secretary that policies that will be formulated will be based on data and information, accurate data and information as basis of policy proposal. The Department again is mandated to provide accessible, equitable, and quality basic education, which includes provision of a safe and enabling learning environment.
Okay.
And because education and national security are individually intertwined, thus the need for gathering of data and information, and hence the need for confidential funds. Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
In the formulation of education policies, the inputs should be based on academic, scientific, empirical studies, but not, and in pursuit of this objective, confidential funds are not necessary. To my mind, Mr. Speaker, no stretch of the imagination will make the use of confidential fund by the Department of Education be germane to its mandate and power under the law. Let me end this interpellation by, no, I will not yet end it. I will go back to the mandate of the Department of Education to teach or include in the curriculum the atrocities during martial law and the heroism and sacrifices of its victims and survivors. And this is pursuant to Republic Act number 10368, which provides an act providing for reparation and recognition of victims of human rights violations during the Marcos regime, documentation of such violations, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Is the distinguished lady aware of Republic Act number 10368?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
And under Section 7 of this Act, it reads, the Commission shall also coordinate and collaborate with the Department of Education and CHED to ensure that the teaching of martial law atrocities, the lives and sacrifices of SRBBs in our history are included in the basic, secondary, and tertiary education curriculum. In other words, Mr. Speaker, distinguished lady, the Matatag curriculum, which is only an administrative fiat, violates the mandate of this statute. We hope that the Department of Education can revise that Matatag curriculum with respect to the atrocities and sacrifices during martial law and call a spade a spade. May we know whether the Department of Education has already complied with its memorandum of agreement with the Commission on Human Rights on including in the curriculum under this Act the teaching of martial law atrocities and the sacrifices and heroism of its victims and survivors.